Like Nike is in some serious hot water with the Caitlin Clark fan base.
Nike just set Caitlin Clark fans on fire, and not in a good way. After hyping up her new logo and teasing exclusive merchandise, fans rushed online ready to buy, only to slam straight into frustration. Limited drops that sold out instantly, broken links that made checkout impossible, and worst of all, availability restricted mostly.
Feels good. Got the pants, got the charms, necklace. Zipper, everything.
To North America. What should have been a celebration of Clark's rise as the face of the WNBA turned into a PR headache, with fans around the world furious that they couldn't get their hands on her gear. The deal was massive, the hype was bigger, but the rollout? A total letdown that left fans angry and demanding better.
Bring you live on WNIK, and as usual, we're talking about Caitlin Clark.
That's the big question right now. Was Nike trying to create artificial scarcity to boost hype, or did they just fumble the rollout? On one hand, limited drops and broken links look like incompetence, like they weren't prepared for Clark's massive demand. On the other hand, Nike has a long history of using scarcity to drive hype, and Clark's popularity is at an all-time high. Either way, the result is the same. Fans feel cheated, and instead of celebrating Clark's brand, they are blasting Nike.
Is available, but it's not available just yet, but you can be notified for when it does go on sale. I can only imagine it's going to get sold out lickety-split.
Exactly. What should have been a victory lap turned into a PR nightmare. Clark's fans expected a moment to rep their star, but instead they got locked out, glitched, and told not available. That doesn't build loyalty, it builds resentment. For fans, it feels less like Nike honoring Clark and more like Nike exploiting demand without delivering. And when you pair that with Clark's historic popularity, it almost feels like sabotage, intentional or not.
Next year in 2026. Some people think it's very clean and sharp, and a lot of people are critiquing it, saying it kind of looks like a Gucci ripoff or like a Coco Chanel ripoff, and that it's lifeless and boring, when really it's hard to tell what a logo is going to be like until it gets placed on the shoe or the product. Like the Asia One logo here is kind of just a weird logo by itself. It seems very like asymmetric, but once you do see it on the Asia One shoes, it doesn't look that bad. I saw someone comment how right in the middle right there, it's like kind of like a snake eye, very like Mamba mentality. But regardless about how anybody feels about it, the second these things drop, they are going to fly.
Right. And that's the part that stings the most. The product wasn't the problem. Fans were ready to pay $40 for a plain tee just because it had Clark's name on it. That's the power of her brand. But Nike botched the execution so badly that fans felt disrespected. Instead of a smooth launch, it was broken links, empty search results, and orders being yanked after the fact. Some walked away thinking they secured a piece of history, only to get slapped with a cancellation notice. That turns hype into distrust real quick. Exactly. For Clark's first official logo release, fans expected a global celebration, not a region-locked t-shirt launch that felt like an afterthought. The international fans who've been riding with her since Iowa were basically told they don't matter, and that's a brutal message for Nike to send when they're calling her a global ambassador. Instead of creating a moment, they created frustration. Fans pulling all-nighters only to see no products found, others staring at broken apps, and many calculating that importing a $40 shirt would run them nearly $100 with shipping and taxes. That's not hype, that's a slap in the face. What should have been Clark's big introduction to the merch world ended up looking like Nike didn't even care enough to get it right. Limited stock, minimal promotion, and a sloppy rollout. For a player who's single-handedly lifting WNBA ratings, it felt like an insult. Some fans are even convinced it was deliberate, arguing Nike wanted outrage because controversy drives attention. If people are angry, they are tweeting, posting, and making videos, which means Nike's name trends everywhere. And truth is, it worked. But here's the problem. Short-term buzz can't outweigh long-term loyalty. Clark's fan base is diehard, ready to buy everything from jerseys to sneakers. But if their first experience with a collection is frustration and chaos, that loyalty gets tested. Some have already said they'll wait for resale or skip the drop entirely. That's lost revenue, lost trust, and lost goodwill. And then came the funniest meltdown. So-called Clark fans online whining that $40 for a Nike logo tee was too much, as if hype gear from any other star sells for less. One guy in Ireland went viral ranting about the scandalous $40 price tag, and fans couldn't help but laugh. This man has made 6 figures off Clark content, but suddenly $40 for a shirt is robbery. Spay us. Everyone saw right through it. The rant wasn't about price, it was about clout chasing, and Clark's defenders roasted him for it. The irony is that $40 for a Nike signature drop is cheap. Most Nike tees go for $35 before tax. And when you factor in Clark's logo, star power, and cultural impact, it's actually a steal. People will drop $100 on Yeezy slides without blinking, but somehow a Caitlin Clark debut tee is too much. Please. But even if the price was fair, the rollout wasn't. Nike hyped Clark as a luxurious boy crossover, a brand that would merge basketball with high-end streetwear, and then dropped a single white t-shirt. No hoodies, no shorts, no alternate colorways like Iowa Gold or Fever Navy, just one cotton tee with a logo slapped on. It came off lazy, underwhelming, and gave Angel Reese's fans an opening to gloat online, exactly the kind of ammo Nike should have avoided. Her logo might be sharp and her rollout smoother, but Clark's March drop felt like pure hype with no payoff, and that rivalry only makes things louder. Nike seems to be dragging out her collection on purpose, shirts in September, full apparel in October, shoes not until 2026, just to keep the drama alive. But at what cost? Fans wanted to celebrate, not fight with shipping errors and broken links. Even Nike's own messaging backfired. The CEO called Clark a global ambassador who's redefining women's basketball, yet global fans couldn't even buy her merch. You can't brand her as worldwide while restricting sales to North America. That's not global reach, that's regional laziness dressed up as PR spin. And fans called it out instantly, comment sections filled with, "How can you call her global if I can't order a shirt in London?" Global means everywhere, not just the US. Meanwhile, American fans had their own problems. Sizes sold out within hours, bought scooped up inventory, and resellers had shirts listed for $120 on eBay before most fans even got to checkout. It looked sloppy, unprepared, and amateurish, and this is Nike we're talking about, a company that knows exactly how to handle demand, they just didn't care enough to get it right, and that's why fans feel sabotaged. This wasn't incompetence, it was indifference. Clark's fan base is massive, and Nike had months to plan, but instead of a smooth rollout, they delivered chaos and frustration. Whether it was intentional or not, the end result is the same. Fans feel let down, and Nike looks completely out of touch. Strip away the PR fluff, and here's the reality. Nike wanted Clark's launch to feel exclusive, more luxury drop than sporting goods release. That's why the logo looks like a high-fashion brand mark instead of a traditional sports emblem. Two interlocking CS, bold, sleek, minimalist, it screams luxury collab, not rookie merch. On paper, that's smart. Elevate Clark beyond basketball and push her into crossover stardom. But the execution? A disaster. Nike leaned into scarcity instead of accessibility, a strategy that works for Jordans where half the culture thrives on taking LS and chasing resale pairs. But Caitlin Clark's fans aren't sneakerheads. They have families, college kids, women's basketball supporters who just want a shirt, not a status symbol. Nike treated them like hypebeasts instead of loyal fans, and that's why the backlash has been so sharp. Families, college kids, middle-aged dads, and teenage girls just want to wear something with Caitlin Clark's mark on it. They are not chasing clout drops, they just want to rep their favorite player. Scarcity doesn't build hype in that market, it builds anger, and that's exactly what Nike got. Look at the rollout timeline. September 1st, one shirt. October, the full apparel collection. 2026, the signature shoe. Who does that? That's like Apple announcing the iPhone 15 today, but telling customers they can't buy it until 2 years later. Hype doesn't last that long. Nike is trying to stretch Clark's rollout like a drawn-out Netflix series with filler seasons, but fans aren't sticking around for episodes that never drop. The sad part, they didn't need to slow play this. Clark's fan base is so huge she could sell socks, scrunches, and lanyards and still move serious numbers. They could have launched shirts, hoodies, hats, and shorts all at once and cleared millions in week one. Instead, They drip-fed one product into the market and left fans furious. Whether that's arrogance or incompetence, the result feels like sabotage. And then comes the global problem. Nike slapped global ambassador on Clark's name while blocking half the globe from even buying her gear. Nike's own CEO, Elliot Hill, went on record calling Caitlin Clark a global ambassador for the game. But what's global about a rollout that locks out Europe, Asia, and even parts of Canada? Fans overseas literally couldn't buy the shirt. Nike's European site only offered random WNBA shorts and an AJA Wilson sneaker, nothing with Clark's name on it. Imagine hyping her as the worldwide face of women's basketball and then making her gear US only. It's tone deaf at best. The backlash was immediate, with overseas fans posting screenshots of empty product pages, broken links, and customer service replies that flat out said not available in your region. It's impossible to take the global ambassador label seriously when a fan in Dublin can't even buy a $40 t-shirt. And while regular fans were locked out, resellers had no problem. Within hours, Clark's shirt popped up on eBay and StockX for triple the retail price, turning her debut drop into a scalper's payday. Nike's been in this game for decades. They know exactly how reselling works. And that's what stings. This wasn't some rookie mistake. It looked like they let it happen. Nike knows how to stop bots, but they didn't. Why? Either they couldn't be bothered to protect Clark's fans, or worse, they welcomed the resell chaos to fake hype around demand. Now, compare Clark's rollout to her peers. AJA Wilson's Nike line may have launched slower, but it came with options, sneakers, clothes, and easier access. Sabrina Ionescu's drop included a shoe that released worldwide, not just in one region. Even Angel Reese, backed by Reebok, is getting a rollout that looks organized. Meanwhile, Clark, arguably the biggest star of all, was left with a glitchy website and a lone t-shirt. How does that even make sense? It feels like Nike misread just how passionate Clark supporters are. They gave her star treatment, but not superstar treatment. Their plan? Drop one item, let the buzz ride until October. The result? Outrage. Fans don't want buzz. They want merch. They want to rep their favorite player. When they can't, frustration lands squarely on Nike. That's what happens when strategy misses the mark. The wild part is Clark herself isn't at fault. She signed the deal, modeled the gear, and trusted Nike to deliver. The backlash isn't aimed at her. It's aimed at Nike, whose sloppy rollout makes her seem out of reach. That it's not Caitlin Clark's fault that fans overseas can't get her shirt. But when your name and face are on the line, the anger inevitably splashes back. Nike's sloppy rollout risks dimming her shine. That's where the sabotage talk starts to feel real. Supporters think Nike is intentionally choking supply, limiting access, and manufacturing scarcity to control the buzz. That strategy works for Jordans. For Caitlin Clark, it just punishes fans who want to back her. Scarcity doesn't boost her brand. It pushes away the very people who built it. To make it worse, Nike's PR spin almost insults people's intelligence. They crown her a global ambassador but block global sales. They say she's redefining the women's game but give her less merch than bench players get in team shops. They call her transformational, then hand out a single cotton tee. Fans aren't blind. They notice the disconnect. And the more Nike insists this is all fine, the more people feel strung along. Some defenders argue $40 is reasonable. And sure, by Nike's standards, it isn't crazy. But price was never the issue, access was. Fans don't mind dropping $40 if they actually have the chance to buy. Complaining about cost ignores the bigger scandal. Thousands of fans worldwide couldn't purchase at any price. That's the real failure. Then comes the optics. Rival fan bases pounced. Angel Reese supporters called it proof Nike disrespected Clark. Paige Bucher's fans mocked the chaos. Meanwhile, Clark's own supporters were left posting screenshots of empty carts. Nike practically handed her haters free ammo. But here's the twist, Nike likely doesn't even care. Controversy fuels conversation, and conversation means relevance. By botching the rollout, Nike created a headline bigger than any smooth launch could. Suddenly, everyone's talking about Caitlin Clark's merch, even people who don't follow women's basketball. To Nike, outrage is still marketing. But it's a dangerous gamble. Clark's following isn't built on hype chasers looking for clout. Clark's fan base isn't built on sneaker resellers or clout chasers. It's families, young athletes, and everyday fans who actually wear the gear they buy. Alienating them this early could backfire hard. If people feel burned now, why would they rush back in 2026 for her signature shoe? And honestly, if Nike can't manage a simple shirt drop, how can fans trust them with a shoe launch? That's the core issue. Caitlin Clark earned better. She's lifted the fever into primetime, spiked league ratings, and proven she's the single biggest draw in women's sports. Her supporters deserved more than a sloppy rollout with broken links and empty carts. Nike failed them. And if the failures keep piling up, fans won't hesitate to shift to Adidas, Puma, or even Reebok, brands that respect their loyalty. The reality is simple. Caitlin Clark is bigger than Nike's blunders. She'll keep packing arenas, breaking records, and inspiring a generation. But when fans feel sabotaged, it's Nike's image that takes the hit. Right now, Nike looks disconnected, unprepared, and careless. That's not how you treat the face of your women's basketball movement. And so here we are, Clark's biggest Nike debut became a headache instead of a celebration. Limited stock, broken sites, and global shutouts turned hype into frustration. Nike can spin it as marketing, but fans know better. What do you think? Was this incompetence or deliberate strategy? Let me know in the comments.